Good morning, Justin.
What up, brother?
Man, I was uploading the PPs. I got a bunch of texts and DMs. Saratoga is off the turf, and then obviously one of the texts was from you.
Yeah, off the turf. No, they're on the turf. Unless
They're on the turf?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank God. So we're on the turf.
I texted you. Yes. Yeah. I mean.
Okay. You said I got a bunch saying we're going to be off. Okay.
Who'd
You
get 'em
said
from?
just random people, and then you said. I thought you said we're on. Okay, you did say on the turf.
As of now, but there is some weather in
Thank
the
God.
forecast.
All right.
So Andy
Maybe
Serling just tweeted. This is what he said.
Thank God.
He said, for those wondering about today's weather, there is some rain expected late in the day after 5 p.m. So we should be good, but it's Saratoga, so we will hope for the best.
Yeah.
And then somebody tweeted, or somebody responded and said they're saying the weather's going to come in between 2 and 3 p.m. So the bottom line is, it's summertime. We don't know. Right now it's on, but that could change.
All right, good.
Of course. What's that? Oh, we're still playing. Are we doing the music in the background permanently? That's maybe not a terrible idea.
Music is in the background permanently?
No, you're still playing the intro music right now.
Oh, I can't even hear it.
I don't hate it. I
Oh,
don't hate it at all.
I can turn it down a little bit.
No, I mean we could probably just add some music to this show.
Whatever. Yeah, I see. The problem is copyrighted stuff. I only have the background music from the provider of the software. But
yeah, both of my plays today at Saratoga are in turf races. So if these races come off, ironically, one of my horses would probably stay in the field, and I think you could still play, but we won't get the morning line price. Anyway, before we get into the horses, is there anything you want to add or discuss about politics or the state of our country or anything?
We've touched on it a lot. There's a lot of weird. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the Democrat Party, but with Joe Biden, it's almost like they do this on purpose. A lot of people thought he died. or he was on life support.
Yeah, I thought
Then
that
he,
was.
then you have that goofy, like tape recording. We thought it was, but it was really him, and it was just a voice call. And I don't know. There's nothing to add right now. I mean, right now, they're getting a little bit of a bump with the new candidate, but now everybody's starting to dig into her and find out she got 1% of the vote in the primaries. She lost to people like some guy named Saylor or Siler. I never heard of the guy, and Amy Klobuchar, and the electoral college map hasn't changed a lot. I expect Trump to get in between 315, 333 electoral college votes by the end of the election.
Okay, we'll see. You're more optimistic than I am. I continue to believe that Donald Trump will never serve as president ever again.
We have a wager.
How that is prevented, I don't know, but I just don't see it happening. So anyway, yeah, enough about that. And then there was a video that came out yesterday, body cam, related to the assassination attempt. And I don't think a whole lot was learned from that, but a little more insight there.
Oh, real quick. I was watching the Patrick Bet David podcast, and really good webcast. And they were going in depth about the possible second shooter up on the tower. There is a dark, shadowy figure up there.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like the grassy knoll.
That would mean 2 shooters missed. I don't know.
Yeah. But again, we're talking about probably not really professional people. Who knows? A couple of crazy people that don't shoot very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, my first play, if we want to dive into that, assuming that the races stay on the turf at Saratoga, which is a big if. It sounds like it's a major if today. Would be race 5, which is a $50,000 claiming for non-winners of 2 lifetime. We have a field of one-time winners.
Oh my God! Look at the 1 or 2. Excuse me, 1 for 35.
Yeah, some of them have raced fewer than that. The horse that I landed on in here is the 7, Funny Uncle Mike Maker, claimed 2 straight. You'll know this horse from Oaklawn. I know you know Autoglide from Oaklawn. This one lost to Autoglide. Didn't get any wins at the Oaklawn meet, but ran in some upper level claiming races. Was claimed for $50,000 2 back by Maker at Churchill, and then was bumped up to the $80,000 N2L level, an amount of 16th, and missed by a head, keeping it eligible for this condition again. This would be the second turf start. The horse debuted 22 starts ago at 5.5 on the turf. Didn't do any running and has not been on the turf since. So Baker is known for moving horses from dirt to turf after the claim. This one gets Jose Ortiz for the second race in a row. And I think if Maker does what he's capable of doing here, this is not a super strong field. As you hear me say many, many times, if Beyer speed figures are something you use to judge a horse's overall ability, this one has run numerous Beyers in that upper 70s to 80 range throughout his career, and that makes the horse very competitive. There are a couple in here who have put up Beyers in the well into the 80s. And if those horses run their race, then I don't know that that Funny Uncle is the most likely winner. But 10-1 on the morning line, and I think if this race stays on the turf and we don't have a field decimated by scratches, then 7-1 on Funny Uncle is very possible, and I think it's an interesting play. in a race where I just don't think there's anybody in here that figures the tower of the field. At least that's how I see it. I mean, the true one, Internal Capital,
Yeah.
has run some good races at higher levels, but the last few have not been as strong. Comes up from Gulfstream Park, where those last two races for the one were kind of after the championship meet, so we're not talking about the strongest competition. So the fact that we're it seems to have kind of regressed from some better races earlier in the career. I don't really think of the one as a huge threat. And I also don't know that I think there's anyone in here that's good enough to steal this. I think Saez is probably going to be able to have the lead if he wants it on the 1A. Devil's Got a Cause from an outside post. And beyond that, there are some others in there that have shown a willingness to be close-ish. But also wouldn't surprise me if Jose Ortiz tries to get close to the lead early in here. I don't really know where the horse is going to end up in the early going, but the play for me is that it's Maker, and Maker just does this. He claims horses and he improves them. And the mare, Night Owl, as we can see going through the Formulator's features, did win on the turf as a win in a second. The win came maiden special weight in Tampa back in 2018. Ran 4th of 12 in a race at Kentucky Downs. Also ran 2nd of 12 in start number 2 at a maiden special weight during the Gulfstream Championship meet in 2018. So, there's reason to believe that the 7 might move up a little bit on turf.
Interesting. If they take it off, obviously you could still play it. The two that I was interested underneath with the 7 would be the 8 and the 9. The 8, second off of a layoff, they add the hood, and there's your trainer that you like, Sherry DeVoe.
Yep.
And I always respect Manny Franco out in New York, more specifically at like Aqueduct and Belmont as opposed to Saratoga, but I respect him as a turf rider out in New York. And the 9 is interesting too because its lone turf start wasn't bad. Second time blinkers. They dropped it last time to crack a win maybe or run competitive, and it did. Although its numbers wouldn't suggest it. It might have been a little bit of wide there. In that first turn,
had a trip of death,
and you got the trip of death. So it's one that I'd be interested in underneath as well. So the 8 and the 9 are two that I would like to play underneath with the 7. And there's an opportunity here if the 7 does pop on the side. I mean, I know the debut was bad. Whatever. It was the first race. It was a sprint. Who knows what happened that day? I mean, it was like so bad. It was too bad to believe because the horse has ability, and it's one on a wet track. So sometimes horses at least one on a wet track, in theory, can run okay on turf. Same thing with your synthetic runners. But if it moves up and it improves, it doesn't have to move up a lot, like you said, on the Beyer speed figure scale. If it can just translate that, 7 over 8, 9, and maybe throw in another one, and we can hit a nice exacta with some a triple here and make some money.
Yeah, I think your 8 and your 9 both make a lot of sense. 100% agree with you on the 8. Yeah, the 9, came in from California, barn change, was 12-1. And then in that race on June 14th, which was the turf debut, they did there wasn't a lot of closing in there. But, it was not a bad turf effort, first turf effort. So, yeah, I would probably lean towards the 8. But let's see what happens here. Let's see if the race stays on the turf. Let's see who scratches.
Yeah.
The Funny Uncle is one that I'm very interested in betting. Now, if the
Funny,
go ahead.
Beaten favorite a few times, 3 of the last 4.
Mm-hmm.
But and it coming out of some tough circuits on dirt. It's not like it was running, I don't know, at Tampa or
right,
wherever. But it's been at Oaklawn and Churchill, on the dirt, running competitively against some really nice runners. So
If
if Mike Baker thinks he can run on turf, which you saw him win the first leg of our pick 4 Monday at Ellis. And by the way, man, your pick of the day got pounded from 4-1 to 4-5. It did win.
we can't even take credit for that. Let me ask you a question about
Sure.
Tony Uncle here. If you noticed, he has a workout July 21st. That's 3 days ago. I'm not really an expert on following workouts. I don't pay a ton of attention to them. Is it common for a horse to actually race 3 days after a workout, or is it possible this one's scratchy because it just worked 3 days ago? It was a slow work. It wasn't fast, but I don't.
Well, it was 3/8, and it looks like it was maintenance. Maybe the horse. It's not something I like. I like to work, 6 days out, maybe 7 days out from a race. But this was a slow work for 3/8. It was 32 out of 32.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just Mike Maker taking the edge off the horse. Maybe it's a sign that it's really feeling good.
Yep. No. That's kind of what my first reaction was. It was a really slow work for any horse, but certainly for this one.
It's worked faster before. I mean, the work on July 14th was a nice drill in 101 flat. It's not a great, workhorse, obviously. I wouldn't put too much into that.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll hope this one moves up on the turf, and at 10-1. If this thing drops down to 5-6-1, I'm a lot less interested. I just think the horse is likely to improve. And then my second play of the day at Saratoga is in the finale, race 9, a state-bred maiden 40,000 at 1.16 miles on the turf. And this one I'm much more worried about coming off the turf just based on the weather forecast. I hope that doesn't happen. But I'd like to direct your attention to the 5 War Terminatrix, Gary Contessa, Junior Alvarado. You can forget about those first 2 starts of the career on dirt. Start number 3, which was 5 furlong maiden 40, obviously not for New York breds only because the race was at Monmouth. The horse finished 6th of 7, but if you watch the replay, you'll know that she had some trouble in there late and was kind of.
Are you talking about the 14th?
No, the 2 races back, the June.
2 races. Well, let's watch it. Let's take a little peek at it.
Yeah.
Number 6 in here.
That's right. And you're also going to want to watch the gallop out when we get to it. But keep in mind the race we're watching here is her first start on the turf, and it's obviously a sprint. Kind of breaks okay, and then right now she's sort of a little forward, and then kind of slowly starts to move her way.
Yeah, she broke clean and just kind of a steady little retreat there. Now she's regathering herself.
Yeah, so I mean she's in my opinion isn't running like a sprinter earlier. I mean they're going sprinter speed early, and she broke well, so maybe she's a good gate horse.
Well, that's obviously not the right opening quarter.
No, that is not correct. I think the race has been retimed, and the right time is reflected in the chart, I think.
Okay.
So here she comes. She sort of tips out here and looks like she's maybe not going to get there, but going to finish well. And then she gets pinched here.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah,
But now let's watch. So she again kind of re-engages a little bit, never threatened.
Yeah.
But now we got to watch the gallop out, and it takes a minute to get to the gallop out, I think, because the cameraman is just pointing at grass growing here. When we rejoin the horses, you will see the 6 is galloped out already in front.
I tell you what, that was look. We're not saying the horse was going to win, everybody. So don't take that. But we are saying that maybe we finish 3rd or 4th, or even 2nd. Maybe the 1 out kicks us, but maybe we finish at least 3rd with a nice gallop out.
Yeah,
I think we definitely beat these 3 guys without that trouble. I mean, that was pretty significant in my opinion, and it galloped out good. So there's a lot to look at there and like.
Yeah, and then if you just look at the past performances, you see that the next start, they ran her for $150,000 in a New York bred stakes race. Okay,
Right.
so I mean, in just a quick review of the buyer speed figures of the winners in there, you see a lot of I mean, the top five finishers are all 60s buyers horses, upper 60s buyers for some
They've
of
come
them.
back and run 75, 72, and 70, and a next out winner with a 75.
Any one of those horses would absolutely annihilate this field today. So the five was, as you see, 53 to 1 on the tote board. She wasn't getting Lasix, not that that even matters. Um, so she had no shot in there, and those horses
Right.
would annihilate this field. So if you just go base, what we're looking at here is a filly that has had 2 sprints, now bumps up to a route. She gets Junior Alvarado. On time form, she should be forwardly placed. I'm not saying she's going to be on the lead, but I think she'll be forward, and she's getting a class break here. No doubt in my mind that she's going to move up. She's going to move up on the drop in class. So I think she's very live. A 12 to 1. Hopefully this one stays on the turf.
I like it. I got it written here. I didn't put the other one in, but for the graphics, but I'll post it on our Twitter feed. But I like this horse. It's like you said, the field is whatever. I mean, the 7, are you really going to be excited about it? No, not really. And it's going to be a short price.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, some of these horses that are shorter prices on the morning line, the 7, she's already routed on the turf twice.
Right.
Didn't embarrass herself, but you're kind of thinking, all right, I mean, yeah, would need to improve. The 6, I think the 6 is probably likely to improve a little bit and does have a shot. You've got a number in here that have already run turf routes. You got the 2 that did debuted for Maiden 32 at Tampa back in January and ran a good race after a wide post, and then had an off the turf. I think the 2 is live. So if you wanted me to rank the horses that I would use underneath and maybe also play over my horse, it'd probably be the 2 and the 6. So I'd probably do like a 5 over the 2-6, and then a 2-6 over the 5.
I'm looking at the Chad Brown runner. Not to cut you off.
That's fair.
3 terrible siblings, and I don't know what happened, but it looks like it's a basket case. It jumped up in the air. Maybe I didn't watch the replay. I could, but maybe it jumped a rail, or it says it here it leaped or leapt or whatever that means. So
yeah,
that one looks like it could be a play against. I know it's Chad Brown. I hate to throw him out, but man, nothing on the page, nothing raced there. Dropping down, you're 9 to 2. Do we get bold and throw this one off of our trifecta? What did you have again?
I had just a 5, and at 12 to 1, I'm probably not going to mess around with exotics. But if you wanted to, I think the 2 and the 6,
2 and the 6, okay,
are one you'd really want to consider.
Yeah, the 2 and debut from Tampa was good. Tried it. Well, they wanted to get back on turf. It got washed off, and here we are again. But it's dropping back down to a not too life event. And then the 6, like you said, makes sense. Second routing off the layoff. So yeah, I like those. Maybe I'll do a 7 over the 2-6. Throw the Chad Brown out. That looks not very inspiring. So 7, not 7. 5 over 2-6. There we go. Yeah, I like it. Those are 2 good plays. I hope this one stays on. I'm more excited about this race here.
Agreed. Completely agree with you.
And I like the replay that we watched, and the last race, whatever. And I like the fact that we're gonna get to go a little longer here. Let's take a peek here. I don't know if I saw the siblings on this one. This one pretty much sprinted. Here's one that routed and does have a win for 5,000 and at Suffolk for 16 back in 2016. And if we dig a little, yeah, this one has a lot of turf races and broke its maiden and debut routing on turf. So that's good. So yeah, I mean, I like that pick.
Yeah, I think they think highly of the horse because they ran her in a stakes race as a maiden. I mean, you know what I mean? And um, again, those horses are completely levels above the five here.
How come I don't know this sire? War Dancer. Let me see. Oh, okay. Why is this? It's got a decent, page here. It made $1 million. I completely just forgot about this horse.
Yeah, I don't really remember War Dancer, honestly.
Yeah, okay. Me neither.
And
okay,
then
I like it.
I've got one more play today. If one more, what I would call a bonus, a fun play.
You said Canterbury, right?
Canterbury's race number 2. Canterbury race number 2, number 6.
We're going a mile, and this is a optional claiming 20, non-winners of 2. All right.
The number 6 is a horse that you and I and others have talked about for years.
Oh, this is funny.
Yeah. Look, we're not talking about betting serious money here, but hear me out. The last start was on the dirt. Arrest just clearly did not handle it. Now, that could be because he's going the wrong way.
Right.
Or it could be he just didn't handle it. The start before that was on a good turf course, which Arrest doesn't have experience over. I'm pretty sure the races where I owned him were all on firm turf, and they were. I thought that one was just surprisingly poor. The race 2 back.
Right.
And so, now the winner, I will say, if we go to Formulator, that winner, Golden Bandit,
got an 89
won,
that day, huh?
Yeah, and that one is a serious horse. The horse who was third in there, Keen Cat, has won twice since that day, both of them on dirt. So,
Wow.
but it's not like Niles Channel, of course, your old friend was in that field.
Yeah, I heard he is not doing too good, or he broke down or something.
Oh no, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I think you can kind of draw a line through Arrest's last 2, and 3 back in the May 4th race at Turf Paradise lost to a horse named Jack's Outlaw. And if we click on Jack's Outlaw in Formulator, you'll notice that he has won 2 straight since that day. So he's won 3 in a row.
3 in a row. Wow.
Yeah, and including 2 since that day. Now they were sprinting, but you're talking about a real racehorse, back-to-back 84 buyers. And if we kind of peruse through this field, I just don't think there are any Jack's Outlaws in here.
Even Paid in Full. Paid in Full has won 2 in a row and won a 10,000 claiming event by 9.
Out of that same race? Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, again, I don't like talking about Turf Paradise producing key races, but it wasn't running against total bums.
Right.
So I think Arrest is reasonable in here. I think the horse has a shot. De Silva, a jockey I'm not familiar with.
De Silva. I wonder if that's related.
Is he a Tampa rider?
There used to be a De Silva in Chicago racing back in the day, but I don't. Maybe it's his kid or something.
So I would consider again, we're talking summertime turf racing. Let's make sure this race stays on the turf. But I think Arrest, who puts up good efforts every now and then, if he gets a firm turf course, is one that I'm going to be playing at a very juicy 8-1.
Yeah, I'm scanning at the race. The one, I like that race 2 back, but it was yielding. Maybe it moved up unyielding. And then the other one that just came off the race from Indiana, but now you're shipping up here, is going to show speed, will be prominent early, will be your favorite. But 100%, if Arrest runs back to the Turf Paradise races, absolutely. I mean, he really loved that turf course over there. I'm hoping that, we throw the last out, obviously, a dirt race. And 2 back, it was a less than firm. And it was a weird race because Niles Channel, was in great form and couldn't snip the wire either in there. I actually boxed Arrest and Niles Channel in that race. And but as you said, it was a good field. Keen Cat, Golden Bandit, pretty salty group there. They're not in here now, so I don't know where they're at, but at least Angels Magic and Keen Cat. But Keen's Cat actually isn't eligible for the condition, I would imagine, with the winning somewhere else, right? Okay.
Yeah,
and then Golden Bandit's gone. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, those are not running. And if we get back to that form 100%, 8-1 seems kind of generous, maybe? Or what do you think?
No, I'd be, I mean, we're only talking a 9-horse field here. Let's see what happens with scratches. If the morning line favorite is it the 8, the 4-1 8, or is
the
it
4? The 4
yeah,
the 4 is going to be your favorite off of the Indiana race.
Yeah.
But it's never won on turf. It's 0 for 7. It didn't win that day. It just got a good number, and you're shipping in and making your Canterbury Park debut. It's very vulnerable, and it's got a lot of ugly lines mixed in. So I'm not. Maybe it's a better synthetic horse. I don't know, but definitely one I would not want to play. The race 2 back from the 1 was really nice, but again, that was unyielding. I'm assuming we did get a lot of rain in the Chicago area. I don't know about up there in St. Paul, Minneapolis area, but
yeah,
weather report. But
I'm not going to take the energy to use the energy to go check.
I don't see. Yeah, this is a very ordinary group that he could beat 100%. I will be playing Arrest today just by glancing.
Yeah, I think it's let's see what the price is, but the angle with Arrest, I think, is that he's better, in my opinion, than his recent form shows. I think he gets a firm turf course today. He's got a shot.
Now, here's the one thing, Justin. It was Craig DeLassy had the horse. It got claimed off him.
Yeah.
And do you think that obviously this is a father-son combo here, I would imagine, with the trainer jockey, maybe not. Do you think this guy has the keys to Arrest? Was there something the previous connections were doing opposed to what's going on now?
I don't think so, because
okay.
When I owned Arrest with Dylan Donnelly, he was as good as we thought he was. He was basically what we thought he was, and his form is consistent. I mean, those Turf Paradise races on Byers are just what it was when we owned him.
Yeah, he was very good at Santa Anita and Del Mar when you guys had him.
Yeah.
Was getting consistent numbers, just missing. Again, you're out in Southern California. You're running at Santa Anita and Del Mar. You're running second and third. Those are, look at Flint Stroll, not a bad animal. Lost to the head to that one.
Those horses haven't done much.
No, I mean, that was at the time though. He was okay.
Yeah.
Some of these other ones weren't bad.
Yeah, no, it's true. So I think let's see what happens. Let's see if we get 8-1, and I'll probably put a few bucks on him and probably play him in second underneath that 4 horse, and see if we can catch some. I'm not going to be betting serious money on Arrest, because I like to save my money for kind of better quality horses, or more consistent, or better angles.
No, it's worth the play though. 100%. This is not by any means a salty group. He's been running against better, going dirt to turf. I like it.
I'm going to check one more time the Saratoga Springs weather forecast for today. It's showing rain, in the 5 o'clock hour and onwards.
Okay.
We need to hope that holds off. I just everybody hates rain. I mean, it ruins an entire race card.
Do all racetracks have to have a synthetic track and use it only for turf races that get washed off?
What I would like to, I mean, that's a fair question. I know Belmont is building a synthetic track. We know many other tracks have.
But they seem to want to use it more than what the purpose should be. Yeah.
What I'd like to know is, how similar. It'd be great if there was a surface that was just like turf, where if a horse liked turf, it liked synthetic. If a horse didn't like turf, it didn't. It was kind of an even comparison. Because then you could say, oh well, it's races coming off the turf, they're going to go on synthetic. But now it's like, well, some horses like turf but hate synthetic, and vice versa. So it's really just a third surface. And
I think turf horses definitely like synthetic better than dirt.
No, I think that's true,
Yes.
but it's not a.
2007, Justin. 2007. I remember when Keeneland got the synthetic surface, and it took a couple of weeks, a week or two, for people to catch on. But if you caught on early with the turf horses going to the synthetic, you could that 2-week period you were making a lot of money.
And what is it that makes? My understanding is that it's about their stride and how they push off.
Man, I wish I understood the mechanics of the gait of a horse. I'm lost when it comes to that. Like my brother, he could look at a horse on the track and say, look how that one's moving, or look how that one looks. And, they all look the same to me. I mean, obviously conformation, there's some that look better than others. We could tell by the naked eye, but there's little things like a horse is just walking and he'll say, yeah, that one's off a little bit, has an ankle. I'm like, really? I don't even know what you're looking at. And then he brings me over there and he's like, yeah, feel this leg, feel this one. This one's nice and cold and this one's a little soft. Can you feel that? I'm like, oh yeah. So once you go down there and you start feeling the legs, you can kind of tell. But I just, I'm good. I like to look at the DRF past performances when I'm looking at a horse out there in the post parade, or, you could look at kidney sweat or some other things, but I wish I was a little bit more astute to that type of thing.
Who's pretty good at that, I think, is Rich Nilsson.
Yeah, he is. And I think the Caspers too, a little bit, because he worked for a trainer back in the day.
Right. I think he's got that experience of judging horse flesh and things of that nature, which I have. I'm at a 0 on that level. I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I wish I knew more. I really find it fascinating, though, when these guys, like a trainer or a vet, you'll see a vet, Doc Little or Doc Peterson at Hawthorne, they could just glance at a horse. They'll see it off the corner of their eye. Oh, then they start staring at the legs. And I'm thinking the horse is walking fine, not a problem. Yeah, it's got a stifle or a hock, or I'm like, really?
The only thing I've ever noticed with my own eyes is back in 2007, when I was writing for KentuckyDerby.com. I spent the whole week of Derby week out there, and I was watching the horses train every morning. And it's cheating a little bit because the Derby horses have the yellow saddle towels on, which have their names. But even if it hadn't been for that, there was one horse that I looked at that when the horse moved, it stood out over all other horses. Just to a novice like me, even if it hadn't been for the yellow saddle towels, I was like, that horse is on a different plane, and that was Curlin.
Oh yeah,
Curlin, the way and funny enough, I was actually at Gulfstream Park the day Curlin broke his maiden, and I was there. I was sitting in these bleachers they had kind of down about the 8th pole, probably. They're not even there anymore, I don't think. There was like temporary bleachers they had set up because there was a renovation going on, maybe. Anyway, and I'm sitting there, and I'm not even watching the race, and I can hear Larry Colmus kind of getting carried away with his race call. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I kind of looked up, and I see this horse galloping by everybody like a 16th of a mile in front, and it was Curlin. And he won his debut race, and then was sold privately after that, and became what he was. And then I saw him in Derby week, and he just stood out above, way miles above every other horse on the track. But beyond that observation, I can't tell you a thing. In 2009, I was standing next to Bob Baffert in the Churchill Downs clubhouse watching morning workouts. And Rachel Alexandra, who of course would win the Oaks, was out there at training, and she galloped by, and Bob Baffert said, "Man, I don't even want to run against that bitch." Clearly, she was a monster to anybody who knows what horse flesh is supposed to look like. But yeah, man, I'm like you. I don't know what I'm looking at.
When I watched Rachel Alexandra win the, I think it was the Woodward against older. Was it the Woodward against older horses?
One of those, yeah.
I mean, you don't see that very often. A 3-year-old ever. I've never seen it. A 3-year-old filly beating older horses in a Grade 1.
Set fast fractions.
Now, and I've always been a Zenyatta guy. Okay, so I'll throw that out there. I've gotten a lot of debates and arguments, and it was very almost like political. It was almost like Jordan versus LeBron, or obviously like Biden or Harris versus Trump type of heated arguments people would get into. Zenyatta, Rachel, I appreciated both. I was always partial to Zenyatta, but I do appreciate the greatness of Rachel Alexandra. You know, the Oaks, yeah, she didn't beat anybody, but she won by 20 lengths and a hand ride geared down.
Then she won the Preakness and was dominant doing that. And you know what's interesting about that year, 2009? People don't realize how close Mind That Bird came to winning the Triple Crown. He won the Derby. He ran second in the Preakness behind Rachel Alexandra, and he almost caught her, but he didn't. Right. And now if she wasn't in the Preakness, the whole race would have been different, and it's impossible to say that he would have won the Preakness if she wasn't there just because he got second. But he obviously very well may have won the Preakness because he almost did. And then in the Belmont, Burrell was back aboard, and I think most people believe that he moved too soon and got run down late, finished third, but that with a better ride, he could have won the Belmont. So, I mean, Mind That Bird was not that far away from winning the Triple Crown.
Which is shocking. And the day he won, I was just going nuts. But back to Rachel and Zenyatta, the following year in 2010, you know, they were both doing their thing. You know, Zenyatta was doing her thing. Rachel was doing her thing on the East Coast. And there was the potential of them meeting at Oaklawn. The Sella family put up $5 million for a showdown in the Apple Blossom that year. It was going to be a $5 million race if Zenyatta and Rachel both ran in the race, and it was all set to go down. For some reason, John Sheriffs sent Zardana to New Orleans to face Rachel Alexandra. That was the stablemate of Zenyatta.
Yeah.
And Rachel got beat by Zardana in that race. Now, obviously, maybe something went wrong with Rachel in that race. Turns out she didn't meet Zenyatta in the Apple Blossom. I just thought we missed an opportunity for probably one of the most epic races of all time if Asmussen would have just trained up to the race and Sheriffs didn't send Zardana out there. It wouldn't even mattered if he sent her out there anyway. I wish they would have got that deal together. Asmussen trained up to it, and we would have got to see Zenyatta versus Rachel Alexandra in a $5 million showdown in the Apple Blossom.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I've been following thoroughbred racing since the late 90s, and I can remember many of the great rivalries. I can remember being fans of certain horses where I tried to watch all their
Silver Charm and Freehouse.
What's that? Yeah, right. And but the one thing I've noticed is that in the last, say, 4 or 5 years, as I've been getting more into contests and I've been taking wagering more seriously and becoming focused on that, sort of the fan element of the game. What am I trying to say? My following the sport as a fan has decreased.
Yeah,
I don't get excited really about the rivalries anymore. Like,
there's a reason for that.
And you're going to tell me what the reason is? What is the reason?
These horses don't run long enough anymore.
That's part of it. I definitely think it's part of it. But I just don't get excited about like the Travers. We might have Torpedo Anna, and I don't even know if she's possible for them. They may have already said she's not running in it, but I used to like like even that, I knew where every horse was going to run next, and I became fans of certain horses. I can rattle off 5 or 10 horses that I really rooted for and cheered for, and I got excited when they won, not just because I bet on them. And that's sort of gone away. And I think what you said is part of the reason that they just don't stay on the racetrack as long or race as often. And because there are so many graded stakes and fewer horses and they race less frequently, they don't have to hook up and fight each other. They don't have to battle each other anymore. There's a grade one for everybody. So we don't have those rivalries on the track. But I also think the contest element of handicap, of betting, and the wagering itself has sort of taken on much more importance than the rivalry competitive element of it.
And maybe we're just getting older, and we don't really. When you were younger, when I watched the sport when I was younger, I used to do that Road to the Roses fantasy thing online, and used to get involved in that. And I did like all the little rivalries and paid attention to certain horses. But you're right, with the contests and just getting older and wagering and stuff like that, it's just kind of lose track of it.
And it goes beyond horse racing. I mean, the Washington Redskins aren't a team anymore. They're called the Commanders. So as far as I'm concerned, they're not even a team. But I would start thinking about the Redskins game on Sunday. On Tuesday, it'd be like the highlight of my week.
Right. Yeah. With the Bears, same thing. I would. Yeah.
And I do think that's partly getting older and having kids and a family and priorities and paying bills and having adult responsibilities. There's just not room in your life for all the things that you used to be excited about. I would love to get excited about stuff like that. Like, for instance, the I talked about here the England soccer game, the Euro 2024 final. Me and Susie got on an airplane and we went and met some friends to watch that game. So there are the events, but that was more about the event and the people being together than it was about the soccer. Right. You know what I mean?
That's a once every 4-year event, though. That was right. Yeah.
And then the World Cup will be in 2 more years, and I'll care about that. And then the Olympics. Like I don't know if I'll watch any of the Olympics at all.
I'm not excited about the Olympics. I was, believe it or not, it sounds stupid, but I was actually excited about, believe it or not, don't laugh, the prospect of Caitlin Clark on the Olympic team and watching USA women's basketball. Yeah. But they don't even put her on the team. It's like, they really dropped the ball on that.
Well, maybe I don't know. I have no idea if Caitlin Clark is legitimately one of the best women's players.
Well, she leads the WNBA in assists. Okay. And she's going to win the Rookie of the Year, but she's not the best. Aja Wilson is the best player in the league right now, but
I mean, I like track and field. I used to love watching Usain Bolt too.
Oh man, Usain Bolt was awesome to watch.
That was awesome. Yeah, he was.
And then Michael Phelps with the swimming, and because he's done so well through every Olympics, and you couldn't miss him this Olympics, and he was in another one winning gold, and you just wanted to watch greatness, But remember the Dan versus Dave promo in '92,
and then one of them didn't make the Olympic team.
Yeah,
you
remember that.
My memories of the Olympics are the downhill skier Alberto Tomba. I remember him. I remember Katarina Witt, the figure skater. Of course, Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding.
Mary Lou Retton in '84.
Yeah, I have vague recollection of that.
When I was a little kid, that was the first Olympics I watched, and everybody wanted to see Mary Lou. She was on the Wheaties box.
Yeah. Rich Nilsson, by the way, big fan of figure skating and women's gymnastics. We'll have to
are his daughters in any of those sports?
I don't know. I don't.
Okay.
They play sports. I don't know if they are in those sports specifically. I know his wife was a former figure skater.
Oh, there you go. There's a connection.
And yeah, Rich is I'm sure isn't watching right now, but if he was, he could chime in and
He's
talk.
probably on top of a mountain somewhere.
I thought he was getting back from vacation. I don't know if he's
This
back in
guy
London.
vacations more than Clark Griswold. I mean, is he going to go to Wally World next? I mean, the guy.
Oh, did you know that Wally World in the scene where the Griswold family truckster is going down the hill into the parking lot, that was filmed at Santa Anita?
That's right. I did. You know what? I saw that on Facebook. Yeah.
And the scene where they're running through the parking lot, yeah, that's Santa Anita Park.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah. Anyway, and so those are the plays today. Those
are the plays. So just to recap, we like Arrest at Canterbury. It's a given, but not just because it's a homer pick. He honestly looks like a good play in there at that price. I doubt we're going to get 8-1. We like the 5 in race in the nightcap. We had a nice replay 2 back that had some trouble, and we expect that one to run better. And who did we like in the first race again?
It was race 5, the Maker, number 7.
The Maker, that's right. Number 7.
Funny Uncle.
Funny Uncle.
And we need to hope that the rain stays away, because if the rain comes, it will F up the entire day.
Rain, go away, come back another day. Remember saying that when you wanted to go out and play?
I do, but did they scratch the main track onlys? Wow, they have scratched the main track onlys at Saratoga in race 5 already. So
Funny Uncle is in.
Well, he always was in.
He's running. He was going to run on dirt anyway. That's right.
We don't know if he's going to run on.
Oh wait, actually, they're going to even run him on.
We don't know
turf.
But so the main track only horse in the 9th is still in the field. I'm just glancing through here and seeing for fun who they've taken off. Yeah, the main track onlys are in are still listed in some of the later races. So I guess what they're doing is in the earlier races, they're assuming that the main track onlys will not get to run, but in the later races, they're leaving open the possibility those races will come off the turf. I guess they're basing that.
And I'm really excited about the last race.
I agree. That is the stronger play, but that's also the one that's more likely to come off the turf. So let's hope that the 5 War Terminatrix stays in, and then if they run the horse on the dirt, I don't know. I mean, if we think the horse is better than it looks on paper, then even if the race gets moved to the dirt, maybe you still consider using it. I don't know, but I think it's a turf play only. So people have to use their best judgment if these races come off.
Good stuff. Well, we're entering for Hawthorne for Sunday. I think we got 2 that we're entering. Let's see. This weekend, I pointed out some, Sierra Leone and the Jim Dandy. It's probably going to get pounded down to favoritism based on pace scenario and everything. I don't know how you feel about it, but
is that they haven't drawn the field for that yet, have they?
Yeah, it's up. I made it. I texted the group. I said,
Well, are the PPs already posted?
Yeah, PPs are posted.
Oh my God!
Want to take a peek at it real quick?
Yeah, let's just see. They're not going to have. See, they don't have the program numbers, the pretty little colors, or the odds, which I really like.
They don't. But we could still. And by the way, Skelly, I'm anxious to see Skelly get back after he got defeated in his last race in a sprint earlier on the card as well. And this race here that we're going to look at, it's actually sandwiched by 2 turf route races. So you have.
Yeah, you're right.
You have a mile and a 16th optional claiming A other than, and a straight A other than, probably for 3-year-olds.
Yeah, but it's for state breds. Does the card? Please tell me the card. God damn it! The card ends on Saturday with 2 state bred turf routes. I hate state bred races.
Well, you gotta,
Hey. I mean, that's what today's is. Today's play is also state bred. But
so you got Seize the Gray in here. You have this runner here that is an up and comer, won at Thistledown, the Ohio Derby. Okay, I didn't even catch the Ohio Derby. Pony Express looks I mean, it's a maiden breaker. I don't know. John Sadler's really getting bold here. This one I know from Oaklawn. I'm not very impressed with that one. Then you have Fierceness, who is the every other race. This is the other race, right? Or
Yes,
the every race, or however you want to
Yeah.
say it.
Every
But,
other
I mean,
race, yeah.
at first glance, I don't know. I think Sierra Leone looks pretty formidable in here, but I don't know if you've had a chance to peek at it or what you were thinking.
At first glance, you've got a number of horses that like to be forward. Fierceness will, of course, be forwardly placed. It looks like Pony Express has early speed. Batten Down likes to open up early, but may or may not be fast enough to make the lead here. Sees the Gray. We know his preferred running style. Sierra Leone, it just seems
plotter, but has a big kick and wins.
I don't think he's a plotter. I wouldn't say he's a plotter. I think he's
not a plotter, but he winds up like Victory Gallop,
So maybe who can close in here that's possibly able to stick a little closer? What about Gould's Gold for Ken McPeak and Brian Hernandez?
No, man. I just don't see it. You lose the Ohio Derby. That one's in here. So you got to beat that one. Plus, you got to beat the rest of the field. If this horse won this race, it would be like my reaction to Mind That Bird winning the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I mean, by golden sense, I don't know.
I don't see it. But, again, we were flattered with Sierra Leone with Mindframe and Dornock from the Belmont. I mean, what did Dornock get, by the way?
His buyer?
103. Okay.
Yeah. Listen, dirt racing is definitely not my strength. My guess is what you're supposed to play here, because they can't all get on the lead.
No, but I think Sierra Leone will be like I know you're going to pick the 9th and maybe the 11th race. You're going to handicap the hell out of those races, especially the 9th.
Yeah.
And I'll just do a huge double to Sierra Leone.
Okay, let's see if we recognize any of the names in the 9th. Yeah, there's some familiar names here for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see what the morning line is. Not that I should be paying attention to the morning line, because it is often
right.
We've also got the Grade 1 Vanderbilt at 6 furlongs.
Right, that's where I'm anxious to see Skelly with that nice outside draw. I mean, lost his Baby Yoda just loves this track. Okay, always runs huge here. I'd have to see that one put two together like that. I mean, that's the second time or maybe the third time that horse has put up like a triple-digit buyer speed figure at Saratoga. So
I know that Baby Yoda has won 2 straight at odds of 17-1 and 9-1.
Yeah, and that one at 9-1. If I wasn't watching Saratoga that day in June, that was like one of those weird for the Belmont weekend cards, but I would have played Baby Yoda at those odds. Was that the same day as the Belmont? I wasn't paying attention, but that horse should not go off at big odds at Saratoga. Subrogate, we know this one from other company line horses. I think you picked a horse that lost to that one that won.
Yes.
Next time out. It's the horse's name is escaping me. But Skelly, was at Churchill and I guess you could call it a listed stake, but it was $260,000. But I lost to a horse who came back and won next time out. But I'm anxious to get this one back with the nice outside draw.
I need to derail the conversation for a minute, but
go ahead. Yeah, we don't want to. We're going to dive into this later, but I just wanted to do a little sneak preview.
I just noticed there's a horse in the 6th race today.
Oh,
at Saratoga.
All right, today.
Yep, and I had forgotten this horse was running. It's a horse named I'm Just Kidding in race 6 today, and I added this horse to my horse watch on August 16th of last year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip to today's 6th race at Saratoga.
All right.
Notice I'm Just Kidding, August 16th. Okay, so I added this horse, well, not surprisingly, to my horse watch, sometimes referred to as stable mail on other websites. after a trip of death effort last August 16th in a state bred stakes race. So obviously I played this horse that day, got pissed off at that trip of death. And I guess I thought it ran a good race. And then
I got a trip of death on June 24th, it looks like, too.
You're
close to it.
Yes, you're correct. And then it came back in its next start after the August race in a sprint that it almost won. Had a layoff, came back on the dirt, and finished last of 4. Is coming off a layoff now, picks up Irad Ortiz. As just a quick glance, it looks like its top buyer ever is a 76. And as I say, every time the topic of buyer speed figures comes up, I don't think they are the be-all, end-all, but they do give you a rough idea of where the horse has been running consistently, et cetera, et cetera. And at that best buyer, it's probably not it's maybe it would need to take a step forward off the layoff with Irad.
I noticed about this horse, Justin, it's been wide in a lot of its races. And if we could just break and save ground and cover up like on the rail here, it seems to be too keen when it stretches out, and it's always getting that TOD. But when it sprints, it's like a closing sprinter. And I'm hoping we can save a little bit of ground and not get that 2-3 wide outside stalking trip off the leader. Can that happen today?
Well, it should, because we're breaking from post 2.
Right.
According to Timeform US pace projections, we're faster than the 1. It looks like the 3.
Oh, the 3's going, right?
The 3, it looks faster than we are.
Yeah.
And should probably go with Flavian Prat. Maybe, and I will say this, David Aragona, who is one of the track handicappers and also writes for DRF handicaps, he picked I'm Just Kidding on top.
Oh, wow.
But at 5, so here's the thing. At 5-1, that is not a price that I generally would get excited about on a horse that I have a trip note on 3 starts back almost a year ago. So I would say, but listen, if races 5 and 6 stay on the turf, maybe I play a double with my 7, the maker horse, into the 2, in addition to a win bet. Maybe that's the angle.
Yeah, I think the 3 is going to be setting the pace with Pratt,
and we'll be sitting right behind.
Hopefully, and I hope we are a length and a half off or so on the inside behind it, drafting.
Yep.
Maybe somebody else gets keen with it. I think the which one was I looking at? I think the 4 has every right to move forward. Getting Lasix here, and let's see. I don't know how much it's going to have to do though late. The 7 is a little interesting for Chad. Well, it's going to be interesting no matter what with Manny Franco and Chad Brown. So I don't know. Maybe the 4, the 7, the 3, 4, 7 underneath the 2 is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Boy, we
$10 try.
We need the weather to cooperate today.
Yeah, we do. I like it. Little bonus play there that we didn't count on, but you recognized the stable mail. You said.
Yeah, I had put that horse in my horse watch on the racing form almost a year ago, and I forgot that it was in there. I mean, I looked it up earlier in the week, and when I saw that it's 5-1 with Irad, I'm like, we're not going to get much of a price. Just because I have a trip note on a horse doesn't mean that I'm guaranteed to play the horse. You know what I mean?
Anthony, 4-year-old debut on the turf.
That's what we're getting.
That could be good. Let me.
And then I think later on in the week, I've got a number of other horses in my stable mail /
Oh, I can't wait for those.
Yeah, there's one at Del Mar tomorrow, another one at Saratoga tomorrow. So, and then we've got a lot of turf racing coming up. I mean, a lot of things to handicap. So this is a fun time of year when the weather cooperates.
There you go. I'm just kidding.
That's a bonus. That's an asterisk play. That I'm just kidding and arrest. They're not the focus of the day. It's the other two at Saratoga that are the focus of the day.
Well, I'm going to play this one too. It's perked my interest as well. So we got 4 plays. I like the 9th race the best out of all of them.
Same.
I will be playing all 4 of these races. And what advanced wagering site do you use?
I use ExpressBet primarily.
Okay.
Sometimes I use others. I don't want to
say have an ExpressBet.
I'm hoping that we can maybe get some kind of sponsorship deal with some kind of ADW platform.
Yeah, I use Naira Bets. I get a really good rebate. Being in Wisconsin, I get a really nice rebate.
Yeah.
And every Tuesday they give me a percentage of my wagers deposited back into my account. So
can you share how much money you're usually getting deposited? I mean, you ballpark it.
Yeah, I'm usually getting like at least 8% a week.
Okay.
If I sometimes it's 10% depending on what type of wagers I'm doing. What tracks, like you get bigger bonuses if you play like Presque Isle or some other track, or do superfectas or whatever. But yeah, I bet a lot last week, did really well, and I think my handle was close to $5,000. I got over maybe $400 deposited in my account, so that's nice. That
is real nice. All right, well, I need to get back to my day job, which one day I hope to quit because I'm such a great
I gotta do a couple of things myself. I got another call coming up in a little bit, but Justin, good stuff. I'll post all of our plays on the Twitter feed so everybody can look at that, and let's get it. Let's cash a couple tickets here.
Let's do it, and then I'll text you later, and we'll talk about doing a show tomorrow if I like anything.
Sounds fair.
All right, later, brother.
All right,
see you.
Bye-bye.